If not, tell me what your name is and then who you're representing here today. Whether you're the applicant, the owner, the neighboring property owner, or someone else connected to the project. So start with Miss Sarah Cornell. Good on you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sarah Cornell. I'm the architect on the project and I'm the applicant.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Mhm.
And then I see we have Matt Lashide from the City Planning Department. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, morning, David. Morning, everybody.
Morning. I want to drop that mic down, Matt. And then we have Keith Keith Combs. If you could unmute for me. I was getting some feedback there earlier. Let's see. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yeah. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning. Keith Coombs. I'm the property owner.
Okay, great. Are we expecting anyone else to join us on the applicant owner side here today? Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. I need to read through our hearing script. This just covers the procedure for the hearing and then we can begin. This is the March 19th, 2025 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. The case for today is case number ZH20250015. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. Excuse me. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, I'll allow at that time Ms. Cornell and Mr. Combs to tell me about the project. One of you can speak, both of you can speak. It's up to you how you want to orient your presentation. But typically folks will tell me about the project, the zoning relief they're requesting, and why they believe the relief is appropriate and why should approve it. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. I'll hear from the planning department and Mr. Lashide at that point. And then in the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony, offer an opposition, and then make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. Okay. Last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. You intend on providing any testimony here today or doing anything other than just strictly observing. The zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if that's you, if you could take yourself off of mute now, need everyone to raise their right hand and to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
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 Okay, great. Who's going to be taking the lead here on the applicant's presentation?
I can go ahead.
Okay, floor is yours.
Okay. So we are applying for a permit for outdoor dining with a coffee shop adjacent to a coffee shop that's already permitted. They want the ability to use the outdoor space that the property owns. The owner owns the first floor condo that is being converted to the coffee shop, and they have access to the yard, and want to be able to use this space to have outdoor seating for their coffee shop. And it also functions as a bar in the evenings. They would be playing music. They occasionally have an open mic night or a performer come in, but like there wouldn't be screens or anything. And just to be able to use the outdoor space at the same times of day that the business is open. And I think we have those listed on our permit. This is something similar to how they function at their current location, and they just want to be able to do this in this neighborhood. It feels like they're on a commercial right of way. They're surrounded by other mixed use commercial buildings, and other bars and restaurants are along the same strip. So it feels like an appropriate use for the neighborhood. The relief that we need is because the size of the space is over 50% of their indoor space, and because they're within 500 feet of a T3 or T4 zone, and within 500 feet of a residential area. So that's why we need the use permit, but it is a permitted use within that area with the use permit. So that's what we are looking for. Do you have any other questions or any other information I can provide?
Yeah, sure. So what will be the size and the exact location of the outdoor area?
So it is located in the green space, which is just, where are we? South of the, hang on, or just to the east of the building. Thank you. And the overall square footage, hang on, I have to zoom in on my drawing here. of the outdoor space is about 1,100 square feet, which holds about, I mean, per square footage calculations, that could hold 75 occupants, but realistically, we're probably talking more like 50 occupants. I just calculated to the max amount, but that would be, that's the 15 square feet per person. More realistically, they have a much smaller trickle of people throughout the day. And they're putting a privacy fence around the sides and the rear, so they won't be able to see the parking lot that's further to the east, and then there's residential properties behind, and then the front fence facing McMillan will be a wood fence with horizontal boards, but enough that it's going to be lower and we can see through it, just to have a more connection to the street so people can see that there are people there and can come in and sit. So
Gotcha. So will the outdoor patio run the length of the entire green space there as I look at
no,
sort of an aerial
as you can
map?
see in the plan, if you're looking at our drawings, it runs about as far back as the back of the building. It does not extend past the back of the building. And it's sort of like an organically shaped patio, so it's not taking up that entire space, but it's taking up a good chunk of the space next to the building, similar to the footprint size of the building.
Gotcha. Okay. And you said there is a privacy fence. Is that going to be at least the portions adjacent to the parking lot and the rear, running along the rear of the patio? Will that be 6 feet and 100% opaque? Or, okay. And
It's
then the
6
front
foot
portion? Okay.
wood vertical boards, and then the front portion, the opacity is probably 50% on the front. And it's only going to be, it's a 4-foot fence, but it's sitting on top of like an 18-inch wall, so it might be about 5 feet overall, the front fence.
Okay. All right. And I thought I heard something about hours of use.
Yes, let me
In
look.
the beginning.
Let me
Yeah,
pull
could you
those
tell me
up.
what those are?
Hold on. I have them right here.
And while you're looking at that, also another question, is this the coffee shop that's the Fix that's further down?
Yeah, they're just moving to a
Currently,
new
so it's-
location. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're already in East Walnut Hills. They're just moving down the street.
Yep, I have
Yep.
been there.
There you go.
Um,
So the hours of operation will be the same as their business hours. So 7 a.m. to close of business, which is not later than 11 p.m. any day of the week. And then amplification will be turned off by 9 p.m. Sunday through Wednesday and 11 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay, so the patio will only be in use between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. any day of the week.
Mhm.
And there will be no amplified sound after 9 p.m. Sunday through Wednesday, and not after 11 p.m. Thursday through Saturday.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. Are there any other efforts that you wanted to mention to mitigate mostly adverse sonic impacts for neighboring residential properties?
I mean, we're putting in some landscaping. There'll be some permanent low shrubbery and stuff like that, and with the privacy fence. And we also pulled things towards the commercial street and kept them further away from the back of the property, which is where the residential properties are.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're trying to, not annoy the neighbors that are immediately behind them across the alley.
Okay. All right. Did you say there would be live entertainment as well?
They occasionally have had live performance come in. It'll be like once a week, sometimes in the summer, but it's not going to be an every night thing. And they don't have any like fixed schedule. So
Okay.
but occasionally that might happen. Yes.
Okay. And they would use amplified sound for those performances, or would that be
Yes.
acoustic? Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't think I have any other questions right now. Is there anything else you want to say, or Mr. Combs, you want to say before I let Mr. Lashide weigh in here?
I think I'd only add that in regards to live performance and amplified sound, we've occasionally had like the single performer, single singer songwriter. We have no intentions of putting up a 7-piece, rock band on a stage or anything of, that capacity. So, what we are ultimately asking for, I think, is the extreme of the use of the space, and in reality, it would be significantly limited from that. I mean, we're a pretty low key establishment.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you. Mr. Lashad, anything you wanted to add here?
Not too much. I agree with the applicant's testimony. I think some efforts have been taken to limit any adverse impacts. As Ms. Cornell outlined, the patio being located closer to the street and further from the multifamily building to the south. There's fencing and there's landscaping, which will provide visual buffering and absorb some of the noise. And generally, it's on a commercial street. There are some districts around it which are typically residential or mixed use, which is why some of the zoning relief is required. But really, most of the properties in the immediate vicinity are commercial properties, or a little further away, there's some multifamily properties. But immediately around it, you've got a parking lot, alley, and other commercial buildings. So we don't anticipate any adverse impacts as a result of this patio, and staff is happy to recommend approval.
Okay, thanks, Matt. All right, I'll let the applicant here have the final word. Anything you want to say in response to Matt's comments or any of my questions, or anything in closing or otherwise before we adjourn?
No, I don't think I really have anything else. That's pretty much sums it up. And like we said, it's a pretty low key use of the space in what is a commercial street. So yeah,
Okay,
thanks.
great. All right, let's leave it at that. I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. Based on that and the testimony that I've heard here today, I do believe that it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this application. So I'm going to approve the application. I want to take a little bit closer look at some of the conditions and limitations, just to ensure that the adverse impacts for residential properties are properly mitigated. I understand and trust that, a coffee shop used with these hours is, not going to be too much of a nuisance to any residential properties. These permissions do run with the land though. So if this were to transfer to a different tenant, they may not be as reasonable in the use. And so I just want to make sure, as I look at those hours and the amplified sound, that it's reasonable for the neighborhood. I don't think there's anything wrong with the hours. I'm a little concerned about amplified sound for live music. But like I said, I want to spend a little bit more time with the materials and get a better sense of the area before I dial those in. But I think they'll be fairly close to what you guys are asking for. And I appreciate the efforts to mitigate those impacts on neighborhood properties. Okay, any questions about any of that? As soon as I've finished the decision, which will be in writing, which will serve as the official approval, I'll put it into a PDF and email it to everybody in here today. So you all will have that really just moments after it's complete. Once Matt has that, he can approve the zoning permitting on his end, and you all can take the next steps. Okay, great. Well, if you have any questions in the meantime, or would like a status update on the decision, I'll do everything I can to get that out to you as quickly as possible. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, good luck with the project and the move, and hope you'll have